I'm continuing with this guy from Spain. And what I said in the prior video, you're going to see that he's going to figure it out. So that's why if you don't know, don't go. Because you're not going to be able to figure this stuff out on the fly like this guy. Watch what he says.
Wow. Just walking down the middle of the street here. All right, we have old tools here, bikes. I think you can get just about anything you want in Colombia. As I mentioned earlier, the Waco, which is a hole, they sell everything, even a hole at Waco. Entonces, ¿a qué te dedicas para sobrevivir? Yo les hablo. You see that? He tried to sound me in there. So one thing I came up with is I tell people that I'm from Spain, because maybe they don't like Americans as much anymore. And
Now, you see what he just said? I tell people that I'm from Spain. Now he's matriculating. He's maturing. He's got the language. Now he's learning that it is not connected with his blue eyes. It's not connected with his red beard. And it's not connected with whatever he perceives his skin color to be. These people are European with a lot of Indian and African blood, but that's only some of them. So like Carlos Baldi, the great Colombian singer, Carlos Baldi looks more Caucasian than this guy. So to assume that these people are, oh no, there goes the Caucasian guy. No, that's not what they're thinking. So he is hurting himself by not just letting their perceptions, let them perceive what they perceive. Don't tell them what to perceive. And you know the geography, you know the demographics, you know that, 1 in 10 Colombians look just like you. Relax, ride the wave. Don't get in there and rock the boat. You can overwhelm a person with too much information. Let them stay in their comfort zone. It's like, let's say that a guy that he wants to rob you, or he wants to harm you, or whatever. The most important thing to him is that he has a plan. So he just can't turn spontaneously and say, "Oh, I see a gringo, I'm gonna get him." That isn't how it's done. They're professional about what they do, so they got to have a plan. So that, unless the person is just, and this guy is too strong. So unless the person is just absolutely, positively a weakling, no one's gonna mess with this guy. So anything that's gonna come his way, it's gonna be well planned. Well, how can they well plan it if he walks up and down the street saying, "Soy americano, soy americano, de Wisconsin"? Now, if he does that, he's gonna eventually get his hat handed to him. Okay? Let's let him go on.
at least I have the Spanish to back it up. I tell you what, you guys.
See what he just said? At least I got the Spanish to back it up. He says, "I knew before I went. I know, and therefore I go." See how a real operator operates? They're not telling you, "Hey, I'm in San Carlos City. I've been in the Philippines for this X number of years, and so far I've been lucky." See, he comes to the same realization naturally that I was talking about in the first video. I don't have to go into his comment section and say anything. See? Now, look at his comment section. Just look at this first comment what this guy said. Watch. Look at this. "I'm a brown-skinned Puerto Rican. Primary language Spanish. I blend in here so long, I don't speak my Puerto Rican accent Spanish. Just just ask if you know Nick. And so what else is he saying here? And then he says, then ask if I know Nicky Jam or some great videos. See what I'm saying? So Nicky Jam, nobody knows where Nicky Jam is from. People don't get into that. They just listen to the music. You are what you are. See? Guy, my folks moved to Medellin in 2006 after living in America 40 years. They lived in Bogota in the 1950s when my father was a stockbroker there. And so it goes on and on and on, stunned transformation, and he's talking about what's going on. And, and he said, look, then came the gringos who can't get laid at home without paying for it and have turned to Medellin and turned Medellin into the wrong part of Thailand. See what I'm saying? See this animosity? And so read all of this. I mean, know what the people's feelings are. And he said they've been listening to the gringo accent for literally. It even sounds like and it sounds absolutely nothing like you it sounds nothing like your pretty good Spanish. They know gringos walking around themselves are 90% up to something and can spot them before they even utter a word. Their shorts, their shoes. See what I'm saying? They already know who you are because you're not trying to, that's why you're on the bike. You're moving fast. You know, they already got you picked out. It's like you're sitting there and you come to a brand new neighborhood or you come to a whole new city and you're with monolinguals. Everybody knows that you're not from there. You're not fooling anybody. You can't blend in, and that's what this guy said. And he said it's hard to pick up if you're not a native speaker, but the sarcasm and how he said cocaine was classic, passive aggressive in this era. See, in this area. See what I'm saying? See, the guy that's speaking Spanish is concentrating on, hey, the dude tried to hit you with the cocaine move, and you say yes to that. You don't know what you're buying. You're probably buying a whole bunch of soap and a whole bunch of pain. Okay, see what I'm saying? So let's see if the guy himself wants to respond to this. Okay, look. See, this is how you know. Look at the link to his comment. This is how you know a guy that knows his way around. See, he's not insulted because someone has given him some feedback. He's not insulted at all. Look at what he says. Very insightful comment. I totally believe you. I'm not revealing anything about Medellin that is not known. See? Then that's what I told you. So what is he filming for if others have already filmed and all he has to do is provide commentary? See what I'm saying? I'm just trying to teach people about the culture and society. That was best done with commentary on someone else's film where someone else left their ass hanging out there, not where he's got his ass hanging out there. And I know that they can spot gringos a mile away. But I only said one word to these guys, and they asked if I was from Spain. So that caught my attention. And the guy with the coke comment, I knew it was all bullshit. See, you don't know it was bullshit. You don't know what he was saying. You just say yes and no. And all the time it's gonna be no, 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 no. You don't try and measure the veracity of the offer. If you got to measure the veracity of the offer, then sooner or later you're going to be tempted and someone is going to make the offer to you and you're going to say yes and you're going to get caught up. It's always no. Hey, that's not legal here. That's not a legal transaction. I don't know you. I'm moving on. See, you learn these things in life. But I'm making this video for a Western audience who finds that stuff funny. Western audience doesn't find stuff funny. It is that, that, or other. They're looking for you to inform them. You've got to know so that they got to know. And you've got to tell them that they have got to say no. Like Cat Williams, they got to say no. They cannot get caught up with the Colombian police, the Mexican police, the Filipino police. Period. Period. So he says, I've learned through my travels that gringos are boobs. See? And el que vive. Vive el bobo. See? And what he's saying is that look, he's saying the same thing that you hear me say video after video. I see someone who's running around and they're speaking English. I'm going to try to be polite, but quite frankly, I'm trying to get away from around them because they're just going to bring heat. And that's what he's trying to say here, that they're bobo, they're tantos, they're idiotas. And so he's saying, y no soy un bobo. And which is why I play the game with those people, like you said, are passive aggressive. No, I'm not playing any games with you. I'm just moving around. I'm telling you no. I don't have time for an undercover cop to overhear the conversation and then follow me for the rest of the time that I'm in Medellin or in this city or that city or the other. It's just, hey, no, no, no. Not even no thank you. It's I gotta move around. Now, one of the reasons is because of excessive extortion. An officer will come up to you in these countries and they'll say, hey, you need to pay me or I'm going to plant something on you. See, so they got any video where you've hung out with a known drug dealer, any of that. You've had any type of business with a known drug dealer, they know that they can set you up and make it stick. That's why you say no and get the hell out of there. Okay. Just wait for the Cartagena video. That place is something else. Colombia, in spite of all of this, is a wonderful place. But the political and social situation needs to improve. So, poverty and desperation leads to an aggressive and predatory approach on so many levels. It's exhausting. I still enjoy my time there when I'm not filming. Un saludo. Okay, see, you say the specifics about what is wrong with the place. Say the specifics about what is wrong with the place. Don't take out the blanket and cover the whole place with the blanket. There's good spots, there's bad spots. It's like nothing can be more treacherous than the United States. And and I tell a lot of people that are new to the United States there, I try to tell them, look, nothing can be more treacherous than the United States. And they don't really understand. And I try to explain to them. Porque en los Estados Unidos, toda la gente carga un pistola. Toda la gente lleva un pistola. Sin precepciones. Y especialmente cuando tú estás en el estado de Georgia, estado de Florida, estado de Texas y prácticamente todos los estados que están al sur de los Estados Unidos, toda la gente lleva armas. See, you say that. So the United States, the French say that the most dangerous country in the world is the United States. Fires, earthquakes, natural disasters, guns, the total. They say, hey, it's still the wild, wild west. So if you on here and you're like bashing Colombia, see, any Colombian that knows any geopolitics is gonna say, hold on, wait, dog, wait, you're getting a little bit carried away here. You're bashing us a little bit too much. What about them places you've been in? I mean, Colombia didn't have a 12 or 13 year Spanish Civil War. Colombia didn't fight in World War I. Colombia didn't fight in World War II. It's all just a matter of perspective.
I tell you what, you guys, making videos down here is like one of the biggest adrenaline rushes that I've ever had.
Welcome.
Todo bien, fino, fino. Parceros de Colombia.
My friend.
Aro.
¿De acá, desde España? Joder, tío.
Joder, tío.
Español,
Me cago en todo.
If it's an adrenal rush, you shouldn't be doing it, because you're not going to be calm under fire. See?
Manda saludos a Málaga, España. Hasta luego. Vale. Yo les hablo. You see that? They thought I was from Spain. Colombia. Gracias, hermano. ¿Qué te pasó a la pierna?
Me la perdí, porque la perdí, o sea, la perdí una tractomula que me la partió en 4 pedazos.
A ver. Y en Colombia te ayudan el gobierno cuando algo así te pasa.
No, nada, parcero.
Entonces, ¿a qué te dedicas para sobrevivir?
Vendo bombón, si quieres vencer lo que vendo, vengo.
Vale, vamos a ver.
Una tractomula me la pisó, una mula.
Una mula.
Tenía, pues, como 14 años.
Vale. ¿Y dónde vives?
Entrar, tengo que pagar la pieza, patrón.
La vida aquí en el centro es muy duro. Aquí trabajando, pues la gente te ha intentado alguna vez robar o hacerte daño. ¿Qué es esto?
Me quitaron un teléfono, un iPhone.
¿Y te caíste?
No, me dieron un machetazo a un ladrón.
¿Te dieron un machetazo? They gave you a machete blow, bro. Un machete. Aquí en el centro. Madre mía.
Para quitarme un iPhone.
Wow. My friend here from the Pacific is giving me a nice shoe whitening. Doesn't want to be on camera, but he's done such a great job that I wanted to share more of what the locals do. He's an immigrant from the Pacific coast of Colombia, from Choco, which is a lesser known region. I've been there, it's a wonderful area. It's a zone of fishing, but also the area of Buenaventura, which is the most dangerous port city in Colombia. Actually, my friend Timmy Carter, who I met here in Medellin the other day, he's made videos there, so shout out to Timmy Carter. But you just gotta respect the grind of the people working here. Look at how white my shoes are now. This is Metro Berrio, Parque Berrio. I was told by the local guide, ¿Cómo estamos? Tennis. I was told that this is the best place to practice your Spanish because the older folks sit here, retired, and you just, learn how they sell things.
Now, the one guy that he was talking to a couple frames back, that dude was a deep, serious drug addict. And he didn't look at that dude's tats. You see how that dude raised his arm up and he had that tat? And he was telling him that, hey, you know what? I got stabbed in the arm right here. Okay. Right then and there, when the dude says that, you got some choices to make. And always the choice is that you got to bisect him. You got to bisect that body, and you gotta get as close to him as you possibly can, so that you can negate a gun or a knife. You got to always negate it. Now, see, he's not really paying attention. Now, the other thing that he's getting ready to do is he's getting ready to go out here and practice his Spanish. He has excellent Spanish. He doesn't need to practice anything. And plus, he lives in Spain. So what is he going to practice for?
So you can listen and then be like, ¿Cuánto cuesta? La vida callejera. No? Ah, vale. Ya está. I was doing one last shot there, and a guy with a lot of tattoos, real dodgy looking guy, just came up to me and said I couldn't record, and not that I can't record, but I think that was a sign with regards to the people working on the street. Well, it makes you wonder if they are...
Now, you see where he's talking about the tats? See where he's talking about the tats? And in the earlier video, he asked one of the guys, and see, and this is what he's not understanding. He says, hey, way back when in this video, he asked the lady, he says, hey, do you have to pay protection money, basically? Do you have to pay protection money to the cartels? Now, before the video is even, and the people said no, but now before the video is even closed, one of the cartel guys have come up to him and said, "You can't film here." See, so as soon as he's walking up and down the street, everybody is saying, "Hey, psst, 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 psst." Now he's changed the narrative, and they're saying the Españole. So I mean, so he's doing better. He's getting smart. But he never should have asked them. I mean, like any type of criminal conduct, just don't ask. Just plain and simply, don't ask. Like, hey, where's the weed at? Hey, where's the coke at? Hey, where's the hoes at? Don't ask any of those questions. If you know that you're going to get your hat handed to you in the United States, I mean, he's not going to go to Kankakee. He says that he's from Wisconsin. He ain't going to be running up and down the street in Kankakee. He's going to come over from Wisconsin. He's going to run through Kankakee asking somebody from Kankakee all of the questions that he's asking in Medellin. He ain't going to survive unless he is really, really, really strapped. So these guys are letting him make it.
Deciding to do it out of necessity or out of force, but there's a lot of questions. I do know that a lot of the times in Parquejeras, in the nice upscale neighborhood of El Poblado, those ladies definitely choose to work. That's a whole different topic of discussion, a whole different level of this type of job. ¿Hace cuántos años te dedicas a trabajar así en la calle?
20 años.
20 años. ¿La prostitución en Medellín ha cambiado? Por ejemplo, ¿hay más hoy en día o hay menos?
Hay mucho más porque vinieron muchas mujeres de Venezuela, de fuera de eso, niñas muy jovencitas.
O sea, ¿cómo se siente la colombiana sobre las venezolanas?
Pues la verdad yo no, para mí me da igual porque yo no soy envidiosa. A esto tiene días que uno le va bien, días que no saca ni para la comida.
Una pregunta que tengo es, ¿qué medida de seguridad uno tiene? Por ejemplo, el gobierno te da pruebas de enfermedades. ¿Cómo mantienes tu seguridad trabajando en esto? Porque puede ser muy arriesgado, ¿verdad?
Este trabajo es muy arriesgado. Por ejemplo, a mí me han hecho varios atentados.
¿En serio?
Me han intentado matar varias veces. Esto, acá tengo varias puñaladas. Me han dado tiros en las piernas. Me han intentado matar muchísimas veces. Y eso que yo no soy una mujer faltona que le robe a la gente, no. Pero a veces vienen muchos hombres psicópatas.
¿De dónde son los hombres así? ¿Son colombianos? ¿Son estadounidenses? ¿O cualquier hombre puede hacer esto?
Cualquier hombre puede ser un psicópata. La seguridad, cuestión de salud, el preservativo. Y fuera de eso, que hay veces hace campañas, entonces uno obligatoriamente tiene que hacerse los exámenes. Citología, la serología, examen de flujo y el VIH. Medida de protección en cuanto a la seguridad, que no nos pase nada, pues...
Okay, now you see what she just said? See what she just said? Now, you're watching Passport Bros. And I got two partners. And I met them in Mexico. One of them has fairly good Spanish. One of them has none. And one of them just went to Brazil. He came back. Now, they're walking up and down the street in Mexico looking for women. Right then and there, when I knew that they were looking for women in El Centro, I knew that they had gotten into some bad habits. So I didn't sit up there and say to them, hey, you know what? You guys gotten into some bad habits. This ain't the way it's done if you want to do it right. If you want romance and all of that sort of thing, you're not going to find that here. Not like this. Now, this guy asked that lady a direct question. He said, what steps is the government taking to secure your safety? And then she lists all of the time. She says, I got shot, I got stabbed, I got this happened to me. She shows where up there by the shoulder where she's got the big bump, where somebody tussled her around and broke her damn clavicle. And then she says, look, you know what? HIV, AIDS, this, that, other diseases, I'm I go and get tested. And then she says, well, and plus I use condoms. Okay, now wait. You can get hepatitis B from condoms. If she gets cut, somehow you get cut, blood mixes, you still can get hepatitis B. You might not get AIDS, but you can get hepatitis B. She is telling him that she goes on her own and she gets tested. Now here's the thing. On all of these women that you've seen on this video, do you see any signs of where they've been tested? Do you see any certification? Now that's what you got to ask yourself. Does she take out a paper and show this guy, here, the city of Medellin has said that I can work here between these hours and this hours. This is the last time that I've been tested, and here we can absolutely verify it. None of that. None of that. And so those guys that I know that always go to Medellin, I didn't even bother to ask them what was their testing procedures in Colombia, because I already knew how they were acting in Mexico, that they could absolutely care less. They could absolutely care less. They were out there trying to play Romeo. And you got to remember, Romeo died in that play. Always remember that. Romeo died in the play. So why you want to run around and be Romeo? Now Casanova, he died of a natural death because he used his head. But Romeo, he was just a boy of straight passions. Now the guys I know, they're 40, 50 years old, and they're still running around acting upon their impulses and upon their passions. Traveling to Colombia every 3 months or 4 months, something like that. Why? Why? The Colombian government is not set up to do this correctly. And what you call this in Mexico, and the Mexicans basically have put a stop to it, what you call this right here, and I'm going to be really off-colored, what you call it is street meat. I got a partner that he is always, every time I look up, and I've known him for 2 years, 3 years, and every time I look up, he's always telling me about street meat and telling me, man, you know what, I met this street meat. You got to come down here. He'll call me, hey, I'm down here at the bar. I'm with the street meat. Hey, come on down here. I got to tell him time again, hey, look, man, that's against the law. I'm not going down there and doing that. I'm going to have absolutely no encounters with the Mexican police. I'm not doing that. I'm not in the street meat. I'm not doing that. And he has suffered severe repercussions in his life from dealing with street meat. Finally, he called me the other day and he showed me a picture of his new flame, and she had no children, school teacher, highly educated, from a good family, and she wasn't street meat. He didn't meet her based upon a sexual basis. He didn't lay down with her first and then reconcile with her later. Okay? That's not how it operates. You lay down with her first and reconcile later. Hey, that's dangerous. That's street meat. This lady right here is street meat. And so now when some of these passport bros start talking about going to Colombia, you know what? Go right ahead on to Colombia. I'm not going with you, because I already know how they're gonna move. I'm not going with them.
Yo creo que uno mismo, porque puede estar la policía, pero la policía no va a estar pendiente en cada habitación esperando a ver si uno sale bien o no.
Ajá. ¿Cuál es la cosa que más te gusta de tu trabajo?
No me gusta de mi trabajo, no me gusta nada, me toca. Obligatoriamente me toca porque he querido estudiar, he querido salir adelante, pero cada que quiero hacer esto es como si me pegaran, si se me cerraran los caminos y no consigo la plata para matrículas ni nada. Sencillamente, al principio me gustaba porque ganaba muy bien. En este momento no me gusta, pero me toca.
Me estás diciendo que eres la hija de Pablo Escobar.
Sí. El primer recuerdo que tuve fue cuando Popeye me lleva de la mano y en internet sale una niña de una bluseta azul que sale al lado de Juan Pablo Escobar y dice ¿qué pasó con la hija de Pablo Escobar? Esa niña soy yo porque yo tengo recuerdos de ese día. Ahora le he pedido a Juan Pablo Escobar amablemente y al gobierno que lo contraten a él, que él es líder de paz, para que me haga ADNs. No quiero nada económico.
Now, you saw she said he asked her about Pablo Escobar. What did he think that in an area of the world where you have santos de la contrabandistas, you know, there are people that actually pray to dead contrabandistas. Oh, Señor de las Estrellas, ten misericordia en mí. Permíteme tener suceso hoy. Cuando yo pasar con este final. I mean, they actually pray to dead contrabandistas. So she's sitting here telling him how great of a guy Pablo Escobar was. What is he even asking that question for? He could have seriously anticipated the answer. Now he thinks that he's informing someone of something, but what he doesn't understand is that he's just putting himself in danger. I don't give a damn what Pablo Escobar did. Pablo Escobar is dead. That's all I know about him. And you get in there and ask about him, and then you gotta say, hey, you know what? Ask it this. Pablo Escobar solamente tenía una pistola y él estaba en un techo y el techo estaba solamente, ¿qué es qué palabra? El techo estaba solamente zinca y él estaba corriendo en este techo cuando los americanos disparan. See, that's what he's leaving out. See? And as Pablo Escobar was running across a tin roof and he had a little 6-shooter. That's all he had left. That's all he had at his disposal. And he's running across, this roof with a 38 special. The United States opened up on him. Okay? I don't think that I would want to be standing in the streets covering that when she said that he's a man of peace. I don't think that I want to be covering that when Evo Morales is down there in Bolivia running as the coca candidate, saying, hey, it's okay if we have coca farms. We've just got to know how to do it right. And there's contingents in Colombia that feel exact the same way, like the old contingent called FARC. FARC, yeah, that's how he said. Now, so what is he asking her this for in public?
Pero sí quitarle como muchos problemas a mis hijos de encima que han sufrido gracias a esto. Mis hijos fueron abusados carnalmente, sexualmente, todo. Muchas gracias.
Vale. And last but not least, the infamous Parquilleras.
Hi, welcome.
¿Cómo estamos? Bien.
I'm doing great, and you?
Bien, ¿hablas muy bien el inglés?
Yeah, I
Pues voy a seguir, pero gracias por hablar conmigo.
see you.
All right. So in this area, let's just put it this way: there's a high demand and a high supply for you know what? Thirsty Americans, thirsty Canadians, thirsty Europeans, thirsty whatever, coming here looking for you know what? SEX. And what happens as a result? Well, it's a place that's not the safest area. Obviously, there's people walking around right now, as you can see. But everyone's gonna try to sell you drugs. They're gonna try to sell you everything. And if you're one of those guys that stays out late, drunk, you could end up robbed on the street, or even worse, drugged and dead with everything missing. Or if you're lucky, you'll get drugged and you'll wake up with nothing. Let's go take a walk through here to look at this place that really I'm not a big fan of it, you know? Colombia has changed a lot. Part of it is because just like the drug trade, right? If there's consumers in the United States and Europe, there's gonna be supply. So that's what we have here. Now, how does this differ from the Centro Medellin? Well, there's not as much desperation around this way. Many of the girls working here at night, they're better off. I would not trust anyone around here, you guys. Don't trust anyone. I feel bad saying that because Colombia and the average citizen, they're amazing, right? But like, this has just created just this strange place where foreigners end up dead. And the Colombians sometimes say, well, don't give papaya. Blame the tourists, victim blaming, right? I don't think any tourist deserves to come here and die. But at the same time, you've been warned over and over and over again. People here, the girls in particular, do not like you. They don't give a flying about you, man. They glorify Pablo Escobar here, and I can tell you that the average Colombian citizen does not like.
Now, you see what I'm saying? He just shows where Pablo Escobar is sitting up there deified, and now he's going to make the assumption that the average Colombian citizen doesn't like Pablo Escobar. That's a dangerous assumption. If the average citizen didn't like Pablo Escobar, that woman would have never said what she said, and you wouldn't see Escobar's effigy, his likeness, 20 or 30 years after his death. You would not see that hanging on in a public market like that. So, don't make leaps in logic to appease the people that you're around.
Pablo Escobar, especially the generations of the 70s and 80s and the 90s, maybe the 2000s, babies don't know better. But yeah, this is where all it happens. It seems like a nice innocent place, but I can just tell you at night, this place fills up with women. Literally hundreds of women. Hola, ¿cómo estamos? Ustedes son turistas, ¿verdad?
No, colombianos.
¿Qué hacen acá entonces?
Paseando, tomando el sol, que ya se fue.
Ustedes no son de parquilleros de esta zona, ¿verdad? Ustedes son de un barrio normal.
Sí.
¿Cuál barrio?
San Javier.
Vale. San Javier, como una 13. Vale. ¿Qué opinan de los gringos que vienen aquí buscando problema?
Yo no quiero decir la palabra.
Pues yo siento que todos son bienvenidos, siempre y cuando no perjudiquen al país, porque tanto como el extranjero y los mismos colombianos también son problemáticos.
Es que vienen acá con la mentalidad de que las personas acá son muy amables, que son muy cariñosos, atentos.
Bueno, usted es muy amable y cariñosa.
Sí, pero acá las personas son muy amables, pero no siempre es real. Y hay muchos gringos que se confían de eso, o sea, van para los barrios, para las comunas, con mujeres que conocen también en aplicaciones y por eso les pasa lo que les pasa. Y hay otro tipo de gringos.
Now, see what she just said? Now you got it out of the horse's mouth. She said, you're going to go and you're going to try and meet women on Tinder. And what you don't understand is, and that's what she's trying to say, is that, hey, that's a setup. That's a setup. And there's nothing wrong with meeting a woman on an online dating service, as long as you keep in mind that she can tell you about various elements of the culture. If you don't know the language, she can teach you the language. But you cannot take those women that are on those online sites seriously in terms of that you want to marry them, cohabitate with them, this, that, and other, because they are accustomed to subjecting themselves to bidding. They're gonna go to the highest bidder. And once a woman knows that someone is bidding on her, she's always going to go to the highest bidder. Always. The guy who has the most money in hand, he's going to win. Because she knows he only has to win for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then what he's doing is he's building up demand. So if she's really beautiful, that means those other guys have got to wait on this guy. And that builds up demand. And then her price goes up because they said, man, I got to get over there before she gets over there. Before he gets over there. And that's what this chick is talking about.
Que se cree que son el dueño del mundo, porque son americanos. Es un problema no de ahora, sino de hace muchos años atrás. Y todo es ahora más que todo es por el Netflix. En Medellín hay muchas mujeres bonitas.
Sí.
Eso se sabe. Y los gringos llegan acá, oh, una colombiana, bonita. Y lo primero que llegan es diciendo, soy...
See what she's saying? She's saying, look, they come here and they're just absolutely infatuated with Colombianas. Okay, you go into the strip club. I go into the strip club. And all of the women in the strip club are all from Colombia. Now, so they are working in an American strip club. They call back to Colombia. They tell all of their friends what's really going on. So they know how much they get paid for the same service in the United States versus how much they get paid in Colombia. So now the Colombian women are mad. Same thing with the Mexican women. Same thing with the Brasileiros. They're mad and they'll tell you to your face, hey, if you're paying that much in America, you need to pay me that much too. See, that's what this lady is talking about.
Gringo, americano, te puedo llevar y hacerte feliz, te voy a dar dinero, esto. Y como ya pasaba hace mucho tiempo, las menores de edad ya piensan, ay, un extranjero,
Sí, es
más sacarle plata.
al final, what a place. Medellin's a place that's crazy, and it's changed a lot in the last 15, 20.
Okay, so that's the end of that. The thing that he has wrong here is that there's some sort of, because he's a one woman man, and so he's making some sort of assumption that it's sex that causes all of the social ills. It's kind of like the Great Depression. Now, kind of like the era of Prohibition. I don't drink. I don't condone drinking. But because microbes produce alcohol, I realize that you cannot control it. Some fool is going to get too much methanol in the mix and blow himself up trying to make moonshine. That's just the way it is. Some fool is going to be in a meth lab someplace, get the mixture wrong, blow himself up. Some fool is going to be in a fentanyl lab someplace deep in Sinaloa, get too many fumes inside of himself, progressively die of liver damage, die of an overdose, or just plain and simply pass out that day dead, and they're going to drag him up, chop him up, throw him in a vat of acid. Okay. That's the way it works. It's just like, police officers get shot. Construction workers fall off scaffolds. Doctors contract diseases from patients and die. Teachers get shot in mass shootings. The world is a dangerous place. So when you have normal dangers that you have to face, why do you just want to add to them? See? So like my buddies that want to go to Medellin, as I'm saying again, I could tell by the way they were moving in Mexico, how they were moving in Medellin, and then one of them, when he went to Brazil, I gave him a number of a real estate agent in Brazil. I totally hooked him up. He didn't even call the woman. He went out there in Brazil, sight unseen. Very handsome guy, nice looking guy, perfect body, 6'2", beautiful man. And then when he gets back from Brazil, he says, "Oh man, it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't worth it. Now I'm in the Dominican Republic." So now he done went from Colombia to Brazil to the Dominican Republic. And he didn't sit down in any of these places and just plain and simply learn the language. That's all he had to do. Hold on.